What's going on, everybody? Nice guy driver. So one of the unfortunate things is people, when they find themselves on your channel, they're introduced to your channel from one video. Sometimes they never watch another video. And people will gravitate to that one video in the comments, and it happens to be a negative video, like most of them are, because rideshare, I wouldn't say is unpleasant necessarily. It just doesn't pay what drivers want it to pay. So this is the comment I get. Probably not every person. I would probably say 1 out of every 10 people will say, well, if rideshare is so bad and it doesn't pay what you want it to pay, why keep doing it? This is probably going to be the last time I'm going to explain my reasonings and reasons that I think other people continue to drive. This just happens to be the video. You can go check this video and see the comments. I said how to make $30 an hour driving for Uber and Lyft, usually through cherry picking. Because even though pay is bad, if you pick the right rides, you're not driving 8 to 10 hours a day, and you're still gonna be able to make that $30 an hour for however long you want to drive. Usually a minimum 4 to, I would say, 8 hours. Reasonable driving. Not 10, 12 hours, not really needed, unless you're trying to make $300, $400, maybe $500 a day and not have a life. You could drive more. But just for people that you want a life, but you still want to maybe make $150 to $200 a day, you got to cherry pick. Now, why do we keep driving and we complain? And see, all you see is videos of drivers complaining. It's only because of the two biggest players in the rideshare game. I know a lot of us don't know this, but in other states, unfortunately it's not Connecticut, but in other states, there are smaller rideshare companies out now that pay the drivers better. Just not Uber and Lyft. So why do we keep driving? It's not that, let's go on the example I use. You can make $30 a day. $30 an hour, sorry. And somebody said in the comments, that doesn't equate to actually 30 after expenses. True. But on average, if you're making $30, $35 an hour through cherry picking with Uber and Lyft, even if you deduct expenses, you're down to maybe 17, 16, maybe 15, I would say at the lowest. That is still better than an average job that doesn't require higher education. And I'll give you examples. For one, most of you do not enjoy your job. You're acting like just because Uber and Lyft drivers complain about their pay, you don't complain about your pay. Most people do not like their job. If that's not you, I totally understand. You're one of the few lucky ones. You got a job, you enjoy it. My daughter is in accounting. She went to college. She has a great job. She makes almost 6 figures a year, just her, not even including her husband. But she hates her job. I do not necessarily hate driving rideshare. I just hate the pay. And the reasons why I continue to drive is because the flexibility. And it is better than going through the rat race. Like some of you in fast food, some of you in retail are aware of. You got to go through the rat race. You got to go to job interviews. You got to sit through training. I eliminate all that. I have the flexibility to get on and off when I want, set my own hours. Yes, I complain about my job pay, but most of you complain about your job's pay. It's not just rideshare drivers. I'm willing to bet that there's a lot of fast food workers out there that if they had a decent running vehicle, they would jump into rideshare over going to McDonald's or Burger King. You got to ask to pee. You got to ask for a day off. If it snows one day and it's really bad weather, I could just take a day off. You got to call your boss and beg for that day off. This is why I drive. Do I believe you should have a plan B to get out of rideshare? Yes. Do I believe this was not originally meant to be a full-time thing? Yes, I agree. Rideshare was not originally intended to be a full-time thing. You know why it's a full-time thing? Because jobs suck. Most jobs really suck. It's really rare you find somebody that's fulfilled by their job. They love their pay. They don't complain. If they ask for a day off, they get it. That's rare, guys. It's really rare. And I hope this answers the question, if I hate rideshare so much, why do you still drive? Another reason, and I said this in past videos, but because this may be the only video you see, this is why I'm doing it again. Some people, not all, some people are just simply aged out of their career. They've been doing rideshare for the past 6-7 years, like myself. I was in wireless cell phone industry. If I go back to that, they're going to look at the gap in my career and be like, what have you been doing this past 7 years? And when I say rideshare and it's not cell phones, I'm aged out. It's not that I'm too old, but the gap in my employment causes me to not be able to go back into that field. I could go back to retail, but why? Again, I don't have the flexibility I want. If my daughter calls me and she's got an emergency and she needs help with my granddaughter or something like that, I can instantly just get off and go take care of them and go back to work when I need to. This also gives me the flexibility to, I don't feel tired like I was in retail. When I was in retail, guys, and I was in retail for a while. I was in retail for probably my second longest career was Bed Bath & Beyond. And I did that for 10 years. I was exhausted when I got home. I wasn't just a salesperson. I was in the receiving department for most of that 10 years. I was exhausted. I didn't want to do anything, not even create videos when I got home. And I'm sure that's how some of you feel in retail, fast food, warehouse work. Warehouse work is exhausting. You don't even want to look at a computer sometimes because you're so exhausted when you get home. Rideshare flexibility is the one thing that I could say almost every driver agrees with, makes it appealing. Flexibility. That's it. Most people are going to complain about the pay. It sucks because we got to deal with the two biggest players, Uber and Lyft. If somebody comes up with a rideshare app for Connecticut that just pays drivers, I would say 70% of the fare. Somebody pays $100, the driver gets $70. The app takes $30 to maintain the app. I think people would love rideshare again. So it's not that we just Oh, if you don't like it, stop doing it. What are my options? Go back to school? I'm 54 years old. You don't want to go back to school at 54 for a career that you're probably not going to enjoy that either. You see what I'm saying? The flexibility makes this appealing. Number two, this is an entry-level way of being your own boss because you can go private. You can. You can set up an LLC. You can set up your business correctly. You can start doing other things like delivery. You can start doing shopping apps. You can start setting up appointments for yourself. So this is a gateway into your plan B. Another thing, a lot of people come to my channel and they think this is all I do. Guys, you're watching one of the things that I do. I know you don't look at YouTube as a building block or a future career, but YouTube alone is a gateway into online business. I could do affiliate marketing. I could literally start my own media company. YouTube is the building blocks for your plan B. For some of you, they don't realize that and they don't understand that. So they just dismiss, oh, you're just an Uber driver. And that's all you ever be. Guys, I'm not exhausted at all when I get home. I drive part-time. I rent rooms. I do affiliate marketing. I've got 5 YouTube channels. So I'm working on my plan B. I'm doing a whole series of videos walking you through my life going private. So I'm showing you everything that I'm going to be doing. On the finance channel, I'm showing how I'm going to build corporate credit for that new company. I'm showing you as I go, but you always get some wisecrack person out, and I don't think they intend to be mean. Some of them. They're really just confused because most of the videos are negative. Most of the videos are what? Drivers complaining, oh, Uber and Lyft suck. I'm going on strike. The strikes really don't help. I mean, maybe in the long run, but I'll be honest with you guys. I was wrong about one thing. And I'm willing to admit I was wrong. I thought that because I enjoyed rideshare so much back in 2018, I thought we had a good 20, 30 years of this. And even though I'm 54, I'm relatively in good shape. I don't have diabetes up to so far, knock on wood. I'm not sickly, other than a common cold or something like that. I thought we had 20 or 30 years of this, of being a rideshare driver. And I thought, why did I think this? But I thought Uber and Lyft pay was not going to get necessarily better, but just stay stable. And that's when it was probably 60-40 split. They were taking 60%, giving the driver 40%. Some people were saying 50%, but that was on usually the higher tiers. You got better pay. Guess what? Drivers are reporting the higher tiers, Comfort, Black, XL, they're getting screwed too. They're now getting less than 50% for each and every ride because Uber particularly is getting desperate. And all Lyft is a copycat. Lyft has very few ideas that they have that make them different from Uber. So I've been preaching on here for a long time. Connecticut needs another app. Other states have other apps to pay drivers better. I think Arizona, they got what? Hum. And now they got a new one called Pax, where you can schedule rides coming out. Minnesota probably has 5 or 6 different companies now, thanks to Uber screwing the drivers there, and now the new laws kicked in. New York has several different ways to get around, because variety helps with the economy. It's good to have variety. But because the biggest 2 players, Uber and Lyft, they constantly are coming up with new ways to screw the driver, because that's the only way they can siphon more money. They can only charge the customer so much. And they are screwing passengers as well, but because the passengers don't have another option other than public transportation, which sucks in most places, they have to deal with it. They have to deal with it. But it's not that I don't enjoy rideshare. I actually love meeting, and I'm an introvert, mind you. But somehow, when I made the transition out of retail really made me hate people. I'm talking, I hated people with a passion, to the point where I wanted to just come home and not talk to anyone. But rideshare did something to me that I can't really explain. It changed me somehow. I'm still an introvert, but somehow there's a small switch. When I got a person in the car and they're not facing me, I have really interesting conversations. The fact that I'm dabbling with AI, I have good conversations on that. I'm not big on sports, but I try to keep up a little bit. I like talking about the negativity of Uber and Lyft because I want passengers to know. That's also a good way to convert to private. And once I make the transition 100% to a private driver, guys, I think I'm going to actually love driving again. It's only the pay that's bad. It's only the pay. And the problem is with Uber and Lyft is we only have actually 5 more years. Not 10, 20, 30 like I originally thought. That's where I was wrong. And I apologize. I put out several videos saying we got 20, 30 years. We don't. I'm estimating we got to about 2030 before you will see Waymos and Teslas everywhere. Elon's already threatening that, our vice president or president, whatever you want to call Elon now, he's threatening that Tesla robo-taxis will be available in the next few years. And I believe him. I actually believe him. People are riding around in Teslas now, fully automated, and they trust them, and they're getting in accidents even, and people still trust them. So imagine when they iron out the kinks, the younger generation, Gen Z, maybe not so many millennials, but Gen Z is going to trust these things. Waymos are everywhere. They're threatening to put out Waymos in more states. That's going to be thousands of drivers out of work because of Waymo and their partnership with Uber and Lyft. So we got I'm estimating about 5 years. I'll say about 2030. You're going to start seeing them sooner, but I mean where a lot of people are comfortable riding these things fully automated. Right now it's a disaster. People are doing all types of things, having intercourse in them. They're throwing garbage in them. I saw a video on the news where they actually were destroying it. Physically, there was people beating up a Waymo, destroying it because they're pissed off, because they're not ready yet, but they will be. Trust me. As much as people say they won't, and I've had passengers say they won't get in them, they will in 5 years. They will. What does that mean for people like me that enjoy what they do? We gotta transition. We have to have a plan B. But when you guys come on my video, it kind of pisses me off a little bit, I ain't gonna lie, because you're judging somebody on one video. You're judging me on this one video. Watch more video. Watch some content before you judge somebody. Please, I promise you, don't judge me based on one video. I am not just this. I have 5 YouTube channels. I use AI technology, as you'll see. I'm using it in my shorts. I'm using it for titles. I'm renting rooms because the economy's so bad, and my landlord's just going to keep raising the rent. And I'm trying to figure out, how do I save for a house if the rent keeps going up? So I started renting rooms, which helps. It helps a little. It's not going to get me out of poverty, but it's helping. And it's probably helping them because they don't want to pay rent and utilities either. So I'm not just an Uber or Lyft driver. And I want people to stop thinking that when you come on the channel and you watch one video. I'm here not to necessarily educate you, but show you a different way of thinking. Stop judging people based on that one video you fell on by accident, or YouTube pushed it to you. You only watched that one video and you never watch that person again. You can't judge people on that. You can't. Right now, I'm working on being a private driver. I'm going to continue doing YouTube for probably maybe the rest of my life. Who knows? Well, as long as YouTube's around. I'm working on building my own streaming platform. That's another thing I'll be working on in the future. I have plan B, C, D. Because I know this is not forever. But I enjoy it while I'm doing it. I just don't like the pay. Now, when I transition out of rideshare, one of the things I'll be doing is probably delivery, because I don't think they're going to have Amazon robots getting out of the trucks delivering packages to your door yet anytime soon. Maybe in the next 10, 20 years, but I don't think we're there yet on the delivery side. But rideshare, 5 years. It's coming. And I was wrong about that, thinking it was further down the line. But I didn't see how fast the AI technology was moving until ChatGPT, which started it all. Now we got Gemini, we got Claude, we got DeepSeek, the Chinese one that supposedly, they literally stole ChatGPT's idea and just made it better. That's where we are right now. It's not just about, well, why are you complaining? Just stop driving. I enjoy my freedom. I could just cut the app off, do a video like I'm doing right now. I can stop, go eat. I can go to the bathroom. I can go for emergency if something happens to my family. You guys gotta what? Go ask your boss. I am my own boss. I'm my own boss right now as an independent contractor. Granted, Uber and Lyft, sometimes they feel like a boss. They're constantly implementing new things to scam the driver. I did a video a couple days ago. If I remember, I'll link it below this one, where I caught Lyft stealing a couple bucks from me. I don't know, it's like $2, $3. Not a big deal, but if they're stealing $3 from me, how often do you think they're doing it? It's more often than you think. But I enjoy the freedom so much, it's worth that risk. I don't want to be back in retail and got to go ask my boss, oh, can I go to the bathroom? At 54 years old, I got to go ask to go use the restroom, because we're busy. I don't like that feeling. I like being my own boss. And once I set up the private rides business, I'll be doing different things. I'm probably going to be doing different content, showing you guys me doing deliveries and other forms of income. But just like a lot of these rideshare drivers, they complain because they just want better pay. They enjoy their job. Some people like talking to passengers. I've even seen some of these people they disregard the pay. Yes, even though the pay sucks, I've watched Show Me the Money Club where there was a guy that takes every ride. He literally takes almost every single ride, whether it sucks or not. That I don't recommend because it's gonna really kill your car even faster. But the truth is, if you really enjoy it and most of your rides stay local, this is not a bad gig. And no, it's not intended to replace full-time work, but because of the state of the economy after the pandemic, let's keep it real, it caused a lot of people to lose their jobs. A lot of people lost their jobs in tech, finance, teachers. You'd be surprised how many people drive rideshare and saturate the market because this is the only thing they could do without going through an interview process and wasteless training. I'd rather do this than go clock in at a job and have some 22-year-old tell me what to do. Now you tell me, why do we still drive? That's why we still drive. There are literally teachers, because obviously they're off in the summer. They need more money, so they drive. They got kids at home. They need the flexibility to go back to the house, feed the dogs, check on their elderly parents. And it's not just necessarily rideshare. People do food delivery, they do DoorDash, they do Instacart, But these jobs are just not flexible enough for people that have to be on the go. And yes, it is risky. A lot of these gigs, you're risking your life. In some states, particularly at night, it's very risky. I'm even going to get a dash cam even though I'm part-time in the day, because I'm starting to understand now why dash cams are important with all these near misses with these car accidents. And if I go to Waterbury, Connecticut, half the people, I hate to talk down about Waterbury, but half the people in Waterbury don't even have car insurance. Yes, they're just riding around, no car insurance. If they hit you, you're screwed. But at least if you got your dash cam, you got a little protection for the police, for the report or something, you know what I mean? But I'm just so tired of that, even though I know people don't mean to be negative, but the comments are just so negative. We're complaining for a reason. Just support us or don't say nothing. That's what I'd rather. I'm a type of person, I will never go on somebody's channel. I think I had one exception ever, and that's because he scammed me. But I don't go on anyone's channel and say anything negative at all. If I don't have something nice to say, guess what? I don't say anything. I don't type anything. And I know some of you can't, it's almost like you can't help it. You're sitting home, hiding behind your keyboard. You want to just talk junk because you're not happy with your own life, and you just want to hate. And some of you have good intentions. You don't mean to be negative, but you're just trying to figure out, well, if the job's so bad, why do you do it? I don't know. Do you love your job? Hit me in the comments if you have a job and you love it. I'll be glad to hear some positive feedback. If you love your job and you have some positive feedback about your job, put it in the comments. If you have negative feedback even. You hate your job. You're doing retail or you're doing fast food and you hate it. So you kind of understand where I'm coming from, that we need to keep our job until we can do better. Hint, your plan B. Put it in the comments. Because I totally understand if you hate your job, you're working on your plan B. Your plan B could take you a year, But because rideshare is dying in 5 years, all drivers have to start thinking about their plan B. Unfortunately, we all do. If you're going to be a rideshare driver, if you're going into deliveries, you might have a future. The apps are getting better. I hear these catering apps are paying a little bit better. I haven't physically done any, but I hear they're paying a little bit better than Uber and Lyft, so there's more options out there. And I understand now why over the years, and I'm guilty of not listening, they said you gotta have like 4 to 5 apps because Uber and Lyft is not enough. I've seen drivers that still to this day only drive for Uber. That's nuts. Bare minimum, you have to have Lyft and Uber, because there's days where I don't get any good rides on Uber all day, but for some reason Lyft was just sending me stuff. I put my area filter on and I'm getting back-to-back rides. I make $150 in 4 hours, which is rare because I can't do it on Uber. There's days like that. And then there's days I got nothing on Lyft all day. But I was able to at least cherry pick on Uber and make my quota for the day. And maybe a little more than 4 hours, 5 hours. And then you get these knuckleheads in the comments that be like, oh, it's not even worth it. I do it. What happened to $100 in 4 hours? We're not all in the same market. I hate to call these people idiots because I know they don't mean, some of them don't mean to say things like that, or they're saying it wrong. They don't mean to be negative. But because they have a good market, they literally could come out in 4 hours, $120. We're not all in the same market. Some of us got to do it in 5. Some of us, we need to make that $200, so you may have to drive all day. I don't recommend driving all day. It's just too much wear and tear on your car. Now, I've gone through 3 cars in the past couple years, and this is my 3rd car in the past couple years because I used to go hard. And this was before upfront pricing. I didn't know where I was going. I was all over Connecticut. Now, thanks to things have changed, they've gotten better. We got the area filter on Lyft. You can stay local. But the pay is going down, guys. Rideshare pay is never going to go up. I don't want to lie to you. Rental programs, both Uber and Lyft, will never work. They're too expensive. And now the apps are throttling you back. So they can literally get pissed off that you cherry picked all day and just throttle you back where they don't send you anything. But, Trip Radar. It's happened to me. They literally throttle me back because they gave me a quest. So they throttle me back so I can't even hit my quest because they want to send me garbage all day. They want me to take the far trips to make the extra $10 on a quest. And because I'm cherry picking, they're pissed off so they can throttle me back. These are the games that these apps play. But I still like rideshare. I like most of the people. Granted, one negative person can ruin your day. But I literally woke up. Well, we had a snowstorm. I wouldn't call it really a storm, but we had a few inches of snow. And the next day, it was a little slippery. And I literally drove a lady like 2 minutes from her house The pickup was not far from my house neither, and she gave me a $5 tip. That's not even a lot of money, but that made my day because it was such a short trip, and I had a great conversation for that short ride. And there's times where I'll get $20. Like one day I got $20 because the person wanted me to wait a little extra. That made my day. So there's good and there's bad days, but the pay is always going to suck because it's only going to go down for drivers. It's never going to go up from here. Next year, expect the pay to go down. The year after that, expect the pay to go down. So we got to start diversifying. Or finally give up and go private. But even when I go private, I'm still going to be driving for the apps. You know why? Where am I going to get my customers? I have to take them from either Uber or Lyft. So I'm going to be driving for the apps at least part-time. And I'm still going to complain about the pay. So just get over yourself. I know some people are going to continue to write negative, comments. That's part of the game. But that still helps the channel. Negative, positive, it still helps the channel. But I would like more positive feedback, please. Thank you. And if you want to support the channel, you could do it for free. Subscribe, like, comment. Check out the information I got below this video. And I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Thank you.